I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So just before we get started, we always like to review our confidentiality rules. So what we discuss will stay between you and I, and unless, of course, if you mention potential harm to self or another person, I will have to bring that to other professionals. Okay?
Okay.
So tell me about what's been going on. How have things been?
We're going okay.
Just okay?
Yeah. We're almost done school, so it's really stressful and overwhelming. I'm sick. You can't tell.
Mm-hmm.
So all of it together is just really stressful. A lot of assignments still that are coming up to the deadline with 2 weeks left.
2 weeks left.
Yeah.
So with 2 weeks left, you're sick.
Yep.
How are you managing with that?
It's a good question. I'm managing it, but not well. I'm procrastinating my assignments a lot because, I'm sick, so I haven't wanted to do school, and I just don't want to have to think about school and everything. So I just gotta push my assignments off to the side. So
you push them kind of last minute?
Yeah, I normally do them the day of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, before we go any further, I'm going to complete a scaling activity with you.
Okay.
So, we're going to draw our scale. 10 would be you procrastinate all the time. And 1 would be you never procrastinate. And then right in the middle, 5 is you have procrastinated, but there's times when you haven't procrastinated.
Okay.
So where do you believe you are on the scale? More than welcome to write it in, circle it.
Honestly, it'd probably be 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
So, it sounds like to me you procrastinate majority of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what are some small things that you can do to support yourself? To not procrastinate.
Reading the assignments over before the day of would help probably.
Absolutely.
A lot. That way I can actually have the assignment in the back of my head, other than the name of the assignment.
Yeah.
Have what is the general idea by reading the outline. That way I can think about it and make me feel better about if I do procrastinate still,
Mm-hmm.
then I still have an idea and I have ideas going on in my head type thing.
Do you want to maybe write some of these ideas down, maybe even at the bottom of your
Yeah.
scale, so that you have some of your goals?
Yeah.
Or strategies that may support you when procrastination is a challenge. So read your outlines.
I think talking to my classmates probably would help too.
Discussing it with your classmates?
Yeah. That way, I feel that'd be the next step I would do after reading outlines. That way, I actually kind of know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the assignment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we can kind of go over just your talking of what their ideas are, what my ideas are. That way,
sure.
And everybody's ideas.
Sorry.
It's okay.
And when talking to your peers, in order to complete that kind of needs to be done a few days before the due date, so that may empower you to get working on your assignment sooner.
Yeah.
Is there any other ideas there that you have?
I could also like talk to like my professors as well.
Absolutely.
Like I know like in class they go over our assignments like a couple days before, like whenever we have class.
Yeah.
So that also helps and stuff like that. But like I could like try to like read the outlines before that class. That way, like when they do go over it, and if I have questions, I can ask them in class.
Right.
And like if I don't think of questions, then email them instead. But I feel like if I ask them in class, like then the rest of my peers can also be beneficial with the questions that I ask as well if they have the same questions.
Absolutely. You have some really good ideas there. So you can read your outlines, discussing it with friends, discussing it with your professors and having questions. And then you also mentioned emailing. So if there is a time when you're not in class with your professor, you can just shoot them an email and that works.
Yeah, normally they're pretty good with emailing back, so it works. But like for me, talking in person helps a lot better than emails. But I would use that as like my last resort probably.
Why do you think it helps you more when you're talking to them in person?
I have an easier time expressing like what I'm questioning, like with verbally rather than like trying to write it down.
Right.
Because when it comes to emails, I want to try to be professional, but sometimes when I'm not when I'm confused about an assignment, I'm like, I just don't get it. Like, can you just like help me? That's like what I want to say, or just be like say I don't know, something like that. But like it's not professional in emails to say that to our professors. Where in person, I can just be like, I just don't get it, and like ask them, and like I find like when I'm also talking to them in person, like it's also easier to understand them when they're talking to me verbally as well, rather than reading it as a text message.
Right.
But also having like when I'm with them in person, like having like writing down notes or like having them write down like the outline or whatever helps me to remember what they said.
Right.
So like there's pros and cons of both of it.
Absolutely.
Because I tend to like forget what we talked about and like what they said, but then at the same time when I'm emailing them, I can't put my thoughts into words.
Right. Yeah, so there definitely is pros and cons to both, because with your emails, you can't forget what is said because it's saved in your emails.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're talking to them in person, you don't have to put the thought into trying to type out what your questions are and what you're thinking, and sometimes when you're having a discussion with someone too, other questions arise from what they've said. So it may just be easier to ask them in person while it's on your head. But say if you are not with them and a question arises, but you would prefer to talk to them in person, what do you think you could do to ensure that you remember to ask them that question to support you with being successful in your assignments, and also supporting you in procrastination?
So like what I can do when I'm having those meetings with people?
Well, when you have a question for your professors, but you're not with them, but you would also don't want to send them an email because you prefer to talk to them in person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you have an idea of like what you could do to ensure that you ask them that question when you see them next?
I could either like write down my questions, like have like a designated like piece of paper and like have like questions for blank assignment and like write down my questions. I could also print out the outlines, because a lot of the time I don't print them out. I just look at them.
Okay.
But I find sometimes it's easier for me to like actually have the outline, highlight the key points in it to understand it. But I can also like write down the questions on that, or like put arrows and stuff to the areas where I'm like, I don't get it.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm gonna take your idea.
Okay.
And how about we go through the assignments that you have left, and we can jot them down, and then later we could, or if you prefer to do it on your own time, print out the outlines so that you have them with you.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Do you want to go through your assignments that you still have left?
Yeah, so...
I know that you usually bring your calendar.
Yeah,
it's
in my bag over here. I love stuff. Alright.
So this is for your last 2 weeks right here?
Yeah, so these 2 weeks here.
Okay.
So I have my assignment 3 due on Saturday.
Due on Saturday, okay.
Yeah, that's for my online class.
Okay, which is called?
Ethics.
Ethics.
Yeah. So
do we want to do, maybe start with, or whichever way you want to do it, ethics. You'll do the class first, and then your assignment 3.
And then I have
down to the Sunday.
The passion and leadership for my admin and advocacy class.
Perfect. Sounds like an interesting class.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Write down what days they are.
Perfect.
And I also have a CTA, which is a test for my gen ed class, my psychology, that closes Friday.
So you have to have it done by Friday, but you can do it anytime throughout this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a couple days. I have technically, I have all of today to do it, and Thursday, and then on Friday I only have till 5 o'clock. So I have that.
So what does your day look? So where are we today? We're on Saturday. So you have Thursday and Friday left. What does your Thursday look like?
I have class 8 to 4 on Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we have an hour break in between. So, during that hour, I can work on, my ethics assignment, just because, I've looked at the assignment already, so, because it was supposed to be due a week ago, but then she gave us an extension on it.
Oh, wow.
So I have looked at it, and I've already picked, the scenario that I'm doing, which works for my benefit, because...
And that's a start!
Yeah! So I can work on that, during my hour, and then finish that, or start it at least, and then, because I'm done school at 4, it takes me about, an hour to drive home, so I'll get to home around 5, have dinner, so probably won't be able to do homework till, 7, so I could I could have time to do my CTA after that, because it's in the test, it gives us 2 hours, so I need to make sure I have 2 hours set. But
so that's
do that.
All you get is 2 hours.
2 hours. That's
okay. So if you set aside 2 hours for that, then that's something that you can cross off your list.
Yeah, for sure. And I was thinking about maybe not doing it just because I have so much on the go, but I realized that I have free tomorrow, so I can probably do it then.
I'm glad that you have time to get that done and accomplish all that you need to do.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we booked a slot for that, so that you know that you're getting that done.
Yeah, 7 to 9-ish.
Perfect.
Yeah. So then after those 3, on to next week, I have my observations of family due Wednesday.
Okay.
My enactment paper due Thursday, and then a lot of stuff due Friday. There's the T of O, Theater of Oppression, Reflection, 1, 2, 2 P&Es and then 1 P&E that's a self-reflective evaluation. I don't really know what that is yet. I haven't looked at it. I like going week by week rather than looking at all my assignments at once. That way I can focus on one assignment at a time almost.
Right.
And that's another reason why like I procrastinate so much, is because I like focusing on one assignment at a time.
Absolutely.
So like the beginning of the week I was working on my reflection, and then I worked on Tuesday, so then I couldn't do that, and then like today I'm here with you working on my procrastination. So like I've had like busy weeks and stuff, and like it, like, to me it's procrastination, but at the same time like it's just how I work.
Kind of works for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to bring you back to kind of what you said. You work on one thing at a time, so I don't want you to become overwhelmed from looking over at this. So the goal that we were discussing was to print out all of your outlines, just so that you have them nice and fresh, and when you are about to start them, you have them there to kind of write all over and ask what questions need to be asked. So that's a good start. We have the list of your different classes and assignments. That is a good start. In the past, I know you also talked about it gets you on the roll and on the start is going through your assignments and starting the title page and maybe the introduction, just so that you kind of know you have your format, and then you have what is going to be in your assignment, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think that would be another good idea to add to your list?
Yeah. So I always forget that I do that because it's just a habit that I always do.
Yes. Because I knew that I've heard you talk about that before, and I think those are some good strategies to implement. So with the list that we have here. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever heard of the miracle question?
I mean, I've heard of what a miracle is.
Do you want to tell me what your definition of a miracle is?
Just that like basically like a wish. You could just have anything you want. It's like a miracle happens, like the best thing ever.
Absolutely. So if you went to bed, you woke up the next day, and a miracle happened, what would your miracle or your wish look like?
Wow, that's a lot.
It is a lot to take in, isn't it?
I think like for me, not that any assignments left. To be done school, but not to be done school, it's complicated because I want to be done school because then I don't like have to think about assignments and stuff like that. But I want to see my friends, so it's hard. But like,
so there's pros and cons to that. Like, you're done with school piece, but like you've made amazing friendships. It's gonna be hard to let go. Yeah.
So I think like maybe like instead of like just being like done school, but like get to hang out with my friends all the time and like having like not having anything to do away and everyone can just like get together and we just hanging out type thing.
Do you think that could still happen though?
Yeah.
Do you think you could somehow keep in contact with your peers?
Yeah. I have a difficult time keeping in contact with people because I get too lazy to text people. And like I'm always working and stuff like that, so it's always so complicated.
How do you think you can take little steps to remind yourself to keep in contact?
Like I could put like write down like my agenda on the days that I'm off. Be like text like Shania or like text Mason. They kind of remind me. So I look at this every day.
Good idea.
Yeah.
This is very organized. Like how you have it all laid out.
Thank you. Yeah. So, I'm like even like now I text my friends like. Even if it's like an assignment, I still text them, and then like every now and then we'll like send each other gifts and stuff like that to give each other motivation. So like we already do that, so I think it'll be like a little bit easier when we go in school and like we had conversations about being done school and going into placement of like not being able to see each other, but like we still have to hang out and like we'll go like hang out and stuff like that. So like we've already like talked about making those plans.
Good.
So like I think that would help it happen.
And with having been with each other for a few years because of school, and clearly there is a huge similarity there because you both are entering, or you all are entering the same passion and field. You guys can still keep in contact through friendship and professionally because for sports you need to keep your network.
Yeah.
And, I think that would be amazing for all of you.
I honestly didn't think about the professional part of it.
Yeah.
That's
You're still gonna need to lean on each other, right?
Yeah, of course.
So your miracle would be to be done school, but to keep in contact with those people you're close with. That's a good miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like having a job and stuff like that too. But like more so I'm like super focused on like being in contact with friends still and like having those people in my life because they've been in my life for 3 years.
Yeah.
So like just trying to stay in contact with them and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that's all for today. I'm glad that we got to discuss those important areas and make a list that hopefully will help you. It was nice meeting you.
Yes, you too.
Bye.
Thank you.